So in this video, I am going to show how I mix up my paint. Some people have been asking, like, do I put additives in? And there's always a question of how do you make the paint? So I always use Floetrol in the US. You can get this at paint stores or hardware stores. Floetrol in a quart or a gallon. And then I have both sizes depending on what's available in my area or on Amazon. I think it's just easier to work with the quart-sized container. And as you can see, if you could see, it's a little gloopy. So I usually transfer from the gallon to the quart. It gets very stringy. So I use an old nylon. This is like a footy cover one. I think I'm out of these, so I'm using this other old one, the same one over and over again. They do sell strainers for these, but that's free with a rubber band. Okay. And then water. I've been using filtered, like tap water, but if you're gonna store your paints a long time, they suggest using distilled water. I just use this was like a Wilton's frosting icing bottle. I don't think they sell these anymore with the little red caps, but any squirt bottle is what I use as opposed to pouring it from a jug. It's hard to control that. And then paints, I use any acrylic. I have Liquitex and Loft. I can get at Michael's and Joann's online or in person. They do have Amsterdam on the website and in some stores. I do have some Arteza paints. And those are like kind of like they say artist, like basic level. Watching some other YouTubers, I've gotten into, I have these two from Pebeo. I have Deco Arts. These are really thick, but the metallics are really pretty. I just got silver. I haven't opened that yet. And then there are some really pigmented, like if you're great, like a painter, Artelier. This is blue, black, indigo. That's the only place I could find this blue, black, indigo, which is really dark. I like the acrylic Holbein mauve. That's this. And then I have, for some reason bought a red. I don't know. I sometimes weigh my paint. This is an old kitchen scale. Might need new batteries. Sometimes I weigh my paint. If I'm doing the bottle Dutch pour paint, it's a lot easier to get these in there because I can't see in very well. So with the little bottles, I weigh them. I use Canella Sirocco's ratio, which I can usually have to pull up out of my notebook. I generally, well, it's always 1 part paint to 2 parts Floetrol, and then a little less water than paint. So I would do, for example, we do it by weight instead of volume. Tear, put this on, hit tear, and then once it says 0, I usually add 40 grams. This is my base recipe. Sometimes I double it. 40 grams paint, 80 grams Floetrol, and then 30 grams of water. And then put the tap on and shake it up. Today I'm using, I was gonna make more white to do the base. Some leftover white. I'm gonna use dry, cleaned out cup. So I have Artist Loft Titanium White. No, Liquitex, whatever. So let's just do the same. Let's do 40 grams of paint. 37, 38, 39. squeeze 40, 41, whatever. And then you want some sort of stir device. Then tear or 0, and then 80 Floetrol. So then squeeze it out through the strainer. And this is what comes out pretty fast. There, 89, whatever. A gram, 10 grams isn't gonna make that much of a difference. And then I always scrape this. And then tear, water 30. Yeah, so if you put too much in and it's too thin, you can add more paint. It's a lot easier to add just more water if it's too thick. So I'm usually pretty good at eyeballing or by feel the thickness of the paint, the consistency. There's a lot of other videos online about this, so I'm not going to go into that. But that's how I mix it up. This isn't really enough. Well, there's also formulas, calculators online to figure out how much paint you need based on your canvas size. Today I'm going to do a 10 by 10 with an 1.5 inch depth. So you would want to figure out how many ounces you would need. It doesn't hurt to make up extra paint and then you store it. I find it works well to store it with a, what's this called? Press and seal with sticky on one side, not saran wrap. Oh, I hate saran wrap. But this is sticky, but then to keep the air out, I also have a rubber bands, or these are like elastic rope that I've tied. So I try to remember to store my leftover paint. Sometimes I'm tired after painting and I don't bother to clean up. This seems too thick. So I don't really want a pool. So for the Dutch pour, since you're gonna blow it around, you want it pretty thin, but not so thin it just runs off the canvas. Thicker for a flip cup or ring pour. I say like a medium, it has a bit of a mound for a flip cup, a ring pour, a string pull. Yeah, no mound for a Dutch pour. So I usually stir, mix, and then let it set for a little bit to get the bubbles out, or just kind of tap it. And that's why you torch it, to get the bubbles out. So you'll have less bubbles to torch if you let the paint set. Now clean up. I usually don't always feel like doing a painting, but sometimes you just need to clean up your craft room. You need to mix up more paint. So it's better to do like a 2-day, like a day prep before your actual painting. I also have a notebook where I write down what I've done or ideas. So like I'll try to draw out the thing if I have an idea and say what the paints I use. I'll say this one was inspired by Canela or whomever, and so then I can, when I'm doing a video edit later, sometimes I don't show the paints on camera. So this was left over. I'm gonna combine this and yeah, stir them up. It's Michelle coming in after the recording. I hope you found this interesting. If you have any questions, please add them to the comments. I hope you found this useful. You can see I'm uncovering some older paint to get ready for the painting that I did after recording this. So please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you want to know when I post more paintings. Thanks.